Politics is all about manipulation of the masses. And for you to be a good politician, you must be able to do this perfectly well. African leaders have taken this to the next level, where they ensure that they leave the majority of the people in poverty so that these people can be dependent on them, these people can be fearful, and these people cannot critique seriously and pull up together. If you want to know that the African leaders are really enjoying the fact that the majority of people are poor, while a few individuals are filthy rich. For instance, in Kenya, the president of Kenya has a house that is 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings. Look, I'm not saying this is wrong. Perhaps he worked tirelessly to be able to achieve that. But what I'm saying is if the top leader can live in a house of 1.5 billion Kenyan shillings, what is the chances that this person relates to someone, for instance, Mama Mboga, who sells veggies and receives almost 200 Kenyan shillings in a day for her business? It is difficult to relate. So these politicians really enjoy ensuring that Africans are still poor, because that way it is easy for them to control, it is easy for them to manipulate, and that's what politics is all about. This happens around the world. It's not only in Africa, but the degree in which this happens in Africa is very high, and this is the problem. This is what is making Africa lag behind, because the leaders have really taken this to the highest level possible. For instance, let's look at Kenya. Kenya has a budget this year of 2025. Kenya had a budget of almost 4 trillion. Out of the 4 trillion, almost 3.3 trillion is gotten from taxing Kenyans. So this tax, you must imagine that it is the Mama Mbogas I'm talking about, it is the boda riders I'm talking about, it is the small merchandise enterprises, the Juakali I'm talking about, the low-income earners I'm talking about, the middle-income earners I'm talking about. All these people are taxed to ensure that the revenue of 3.3 trillion is available for the government to run daily business. The rest of the money from the budget is also borrowed, like I said in my previous video, from international bodies that supply loans, like IMF. So the poor Kenyan is not able to come out of this poverty, because this 4 trillion, if you want to know that the government does not intend to change the life of the common mwananchi, the common citizen, then you look at how they have budgeted for this, the budget itself. You look at how they have allocated this to different sectors. Because a serious government that want to change the lives of their people will budget this in a very proper manner. It will budget this in the sectors that directly impact the citizens. So, for instance, I was looking at the Kenyan budget 2025 to just make this clear in this video. You find that out of the 4.29 trillion, that is the budget proposed by CS John Mbadi, education has the largest allocation, which is almost 700 billion. That's close to 1 trillion. That is not so bad. I think it is good for the larger population to be educated, to be informed, so that they don't continue to be ignorant, get out of this ignorance to change their own lives. But again, if you look at it, where is this 700 billion going to? We often see strikes. We often see that universities are lacking money. So where is the money? And this is the largest allocation. mind you, the largest allocation of the budget. 700 billion is like almost a quarter of the whole of the budget. So a quarter of the budget is going to education, which is a good thing, and it's easy to hoodwink the public that there's something going on. But if you look at it in actual sense, in the practical sense, do you see 700 billion in the education sector? I think the answer is no. Because all these things you see, the other day, Sakaja saying, and they will make machines to make 1 million chapatis for students in schools. Very unsustainable thoughts. A lot of gimmicks, a lot of drama, a lot of nonsense. But the universities are often striking, they have less, the lecturers are not paid well, students lack resources to learn in school, and a lot of these things that you cannot justify allocating a quarter of the budget to education because we don't see it. Okay, close to that, the second is to the county government, which is around 500 billion. Well, I have to say that the county governments have really tried to make sure that resources are spread equally across the country. I support that idea because it makes sense, and this is our role as Kenyans to hold our governors and senators to account so that they can explain where this money is going. So I'm letting you know that 500 billion is allocated to these 47 counties in Kenya for the 2025 budget of the fiscal year. So you should be able to hold your own governor accountable at the county level before we come to the national level so that you see where this money is going to. That money should be also used in different sectors of the county governments to ensure that there's growth across the country, that not all areas expect or must receive the national budget allocation so that they see growth. Now it has been brought, a portion of it has been brought down to the county level, and we must take that seriously to hold our leaders, the local leaders, accountable, from our members of parliament to county MCS to the governor. Okay, next to that, we have 450 billion again, almost 470 billion, allocated for national security. So national security in this sense means the police, the defense, and intelligence. So you can imagine the police, the places where they live right now. I hope you see the huts where our policemen live, those structures that they call their houses, that they call their homes, that they live with their families. They are not decent houses, but almost 500 billion Kenyan shillings is allocated to them. Yet the police, when the Kenyans are demonstrating, they're the first to come to the street to frustrate the Kenyans who are fighting for their own rights. And this is what I call ignorance. Because someone is trying to help you, but you don't even really understand. It's like you're shooting yourself on the feet and you expect to walk. So that's what I call crazy. And we must learn to talk these things straight and hard amongst ourselves so that things can change. Because things need to change. Okay, next to that, we have 320 billion allocated to infrastructure. And there's where it gets interesting. Well, infrastructure is good. When there's good road and transport communication, it also improves the economy because goods move seamlessly and fast. And the business is doing well across the country. And that uplifts the economy as well as uplifting the lives of the citizen. But the truth is, out of this 320 billion, only a portion of it is used to do that. The rest, like I said in my previous videos, are used in white elephant projects that never come to see the light of day. You used to see before Morara was trying to go around the country to show you this type of projects. There's a road project in a certain county, It was started, it has taken 3 years, the contract has never been seen, and nobody gives a damn. So Kenyans must wake up. They must learn to not only demonstrate, but to hold leaders accountable from their local levels. Because you need to look at this road, you need to find out which road was allocated what amount of money, and follow it up. Demonstrate in your local level to ensure that you see these roads because the money has been allocated for them. Health comes close by with 133 billion. And then you see the craziness of it because this is also put in the health sector, yet you see how the government is going around trying to benefit out of the health of Kenyan citizens through a lot of nonsensical plans. When we had NHIF, that was changed to something that really doesn't work quite well. It is always lagging. It is always sometimes not available. So I wonder where this 133 billion is going. Kenyan contributions for their own health is also not being managed properly. This SHA they talk about is always faulty. You will always hear cries from here and there. And I believe it is a scheme by the government to continue taking Kenyans for granted and looting their money. Then finally, where it is interesting is that agriculture, of all the things, was allocated only 50 billion of this budget 2025. That proves my point that I said that this budget can show you how much politicians like it when the larger population is kept at poverty. Because agriculture, that is now the intersection of the common mwananchi with this budget, with the economy. Because that is where we are going to find fishmongers, we are going to find farmers, we are going to find small-scale people trying to help and contribute to agriculture in one way or another. So if agriculture, which should be the major focus of our country, because we are blessed, we have rains, we have fertile soils, is allocated the least, and this is where the farmers can earn directly and give back to their communities through support, through government support and government goodwill, so that they can be able to do business easily and can be able to produce enough food for our people and also to employ our people. So this is what I was saying, that the government, just like politicians around the world, but African politicians take it to the next level, that they ensure the common mwananchi is poor, very poor, to the extent that they never feel safe, they are fearful and dependent.